Some children don't lose their childhood in a single moment. It doesn't disappear with one big event. Instead, it fades quietly. One day they're playing, laughing, dreaming like every other child, and the next day they realize something no child should have to realize. Someone has to be responsible. Someone has to stay calm. Someone has to hold everything together. And slowly, that someone becomes them. No announcement, no warning, just a child learning to become an adult too soon. Psychology has a name for this. It's the psychology of a child who grew up too fast.
Number 1. Early responsibility. Psychologists call it parentification. This happens when a child is forced to carry emotional or practical responsibilities that normally belong to adults. Maybe they had to comfort their parents. Maybe they had to take care of siblings. Maybe they had to act strong when no one else could. Instead of being protected, they became the protector. Instead of expressing their feelings, they learned to hide them. Their brain adapted. They learned to stay calm. They learned to solve problems. They learned to be mature. But they also learned something painful, that their feelings come last. They weren't born strong. They became strong because there was no other choice.
Number 2. Survival independence. Developmental psychology shows something interesting. When children grow up without reliable support, their brain creates a survival strategy. They become independent. Not the healthy kind of independence, the kind built from necessity. They stop asking for help. They stop expecting comfort. They handle things alone, even when they shouldn't have to. As adults, they look incredibly capable, responsible, composed. People admire their strength, but inside, they struggle with something many people never notice, trusting that someone will actually stay. Support often feels temporary to them, so they continue doing what they learned as children, handling everything alone. Number 3. Split maturity. Psychology calls this split maturity. When a child grows up too fast, their emotional development becomes uneven. Some parts mature too early, other parts never get the chance. They might seem incredibly wise for their age, serious, responsible, dependable, the kind of person everyone relies on. But internally, they may still carry confusion, guilt, loneliness, because they never had the time to learn something most children learn naturally: how to safely depend on others. Number 4. Uneasy rest. For many people who grew up too fast, rest doesn't feel relaxing. It feels uncomfortable. Their mind becomes restless when things are calm. Why? Because in childhood, calm moments didn't last long. Peace was often followed by chaos, so their nervous system stays alert, always scanning, always preparing, always ready for the next problem. They feel useful when they are needed. They feel valuable when they are helping. But when they stop, their mind whispers a question. Shouldn't I be doing something? Psychology connects this to chronic stress adaptation in childhood. Their brains simply learn to survive by staying alert. Number 5. Guilt for needing. One of the deepest effects is guilt. Research shows that children who carried early responsibility often develop a hidden belief. If someone is taking care of me, I must be burdening them. So they minimize their needs. They hesitate to ask for help. They apologize for wanting support. They feel guilty for resting, for depending, for needing comfort. Receiving care doesn't feel natural. It feels unfamiliar, sometimes even uncomfortable. Because they spent their childhood being the one who gave care, not the one who received it. Number 6. Guarded empathy.
But growing up too fast also creates something powerful, heightened emotional awareness. They become incredibly good at reading people. They notice small changes in tone, in mood, in behavior. They can sense problems before they are spoken. Psychology calls this emotional attunement. But with this ability comes protection. They learn to guard their hearts because they understand something deeply. Caring without boundaries can be exhausting. So they stay empathetic but careful, kind but guarded.
If you grew up too fast, psychology doesn't call you broken. It says something very different. Your nervous system adapted to pressure early. You learned responsibility before safety, strength before softness, independence before comfort. But healing doesn't mean becoming weak. It means learning something you were never allowed to learn as a child, that it's finally okay to rest, to ask for help, to be supported, and to put your own feelings first sometimes. Because the child who carried too much for too long deserves peace too.